Okay, you ready?
Born.
And 3, 2, 1. Hi, this is Robert, one half of the 12-Pound Podcast. As you've come to learn, my mom, Bobbie, and I discuss life's changes and how we hope to help you face them through shared stories and experiences. We did have a bonus episode that we had introduced to you earlier this week, our first interview segment called our 12 by 20 series. So 12 pounds in 20 minutes, where we just look to interview interesting people, depending on what's going on with the podcast and what we've been talking about recently. As you know, we are a podcast that I don't even know what to do with that.
And the really sad part about this
The only thing I
is
asked,
it's a potential spam. We were interrupted by spam.
I know. Do you think the company Spam knew that spam was going to be spam?
No.
They
And
could've-
is it named after spam? Because that's disgusting.
It could be, yeah.
I'm
It's
sorry
just-
to all you spam lovers out there, because there are people that truly enjoy spam as
So
a
basic- yeah.
breakfast meat.
We just lost the state of Hawaii.
Just lost a lot of
We've
people.
just lost a lot of people. Oh, what are we going to do?
All right, sorry, Rob. Go back to where you were before I so rudely interrupted.
There's no rudeness. It was the spam does that. That's what spam does.
That's what spam's for.
It interrupts.
Yeah, it's true, isn't it?
Spam is an interrupter. Takes our time away. So we'd like to thank everybody for joining us. This is the end of our episode. Even though it feels like it just started, time flies when you're interrupted by spam.
Darn.
And where I'd rather be spending our time is on Maury's Piers. So I want to just start out very quickly that Maury's Piers, located on the boardwalk in Wildwood, New Jersey, is a classic seaside amusement park, family owned and operated since the late 60s. We have been having such a great time up there with our On the Board series. So please visit them at Surfside Pier, featuring the Ocean Oasis Water Park and Beach Club at 25th Avenue, Mariners Landing Pier, featuring Raging Waters Water Park at Scavenger Avenue, and Adventure Pier at Spencer Avenue. The end of summer is September 22nd. Keep your pumpkin spice lattes until the margaritas are dried up. We still have plenty of time up on the boardwalk, so please get up there. It's been a great summer for us, and we've been loving it. Hi, Mom.
Hi, Rob.
So here we are. You look good.
Really, thank
You
you
look
so
rested.
much. Thank you so much.
Did you sleep last night? So you slept well?
Yeah, no complaints.
What is it like to sleep now that you're
Old?
old?
That's really.
As you get older, you sleep less.
You do, I think so. I'm only speaking for myself and people close to me that we've had this discussion. So I can't speak to all the millions of people that are listening to us right now that are my age or older. But it does seem to change. It does seem to change. Well, think about little kids, they can sleep 12 hours. I guess some adults can too, as well, but I don't really know any. So yeah, it does change. You sleep a little bit less. You definitely sleep less.
But you become more interesting.
I think now always interesting, no matter what. But would you have that? You may have that to look forward to, Rob. Become more interesting.
I don't know if it's going to happen. That's why I'm doing a podcast. I'm trying to create a forum where somebody's interested in me. So I don't know. I don't know how it's going so far, but we received quite a bit of feedback from last week's episode where we talked about phrases that people use. Rightly or wrongly, we tend to use them a lot. Don't take this personally. Calm down. Things happen for a reason. Well, we heard from someone who recently took a flight from Philadelphia out to San Francisco, and they were getting ready to board, and someone came over the loudspeaker and said, "I'm sorry, due to a technical issue, this flight has been canceled." So this person went up to the desk and asked them, what's going on? And I've got a wedding I have to go to. What am I going to do? And they told them there are no other flights available. So person behind the counter said, "Well, things happen for a reason."
No.
Yes.
No.
Yeah. So my friend had just listened to our episode and said, "Well, don't take this personally, but you're full of shit." So he wanted to give us kudos for reminding him how those terms are actually used.
That's really great.
And it was.
I love that.
It was a good story. We were contacted. I was actually emailed, and they were very nice. They emailed us through our info at 12poundpodcast.com, which you can reach out to. So if you find me interesting and you would like to let me know.
Let him know, because really he could use a couple kudos, I think. It'd be nice.
Everybody can.
Yeah, it'd be nice. This is the same guy that, you remember the episode where they thought he was lonely? So send him something.
I'm that same guy.
Throw him a bone.
Yeah. Speaking of throwing us a bone, well, you did something unexpected. I wasn't sure if you knew how to turn on your phone, let alone.
Really?
I'm going to do something. At the end of season 1 of the 12-Pound Podcast, I'm going to do a montage of all of the cell phone interruptions from Mom's phone, and it will be an episode in itself. So based on your history, I was incredibly impressed with something that you did recently. You reached out to someone proactively through social media.
I did. I DM'd. Actually, I've never done this before. I direct messaged. Well, I think I've direct messaged before. I have, but not to someone I didn't know. I don't direct message strangers. Jersey Jerry. In case any of you don't know who Jersey Jerry is, I have to be honest, I didn't either. And I was looking, not knowing a lot of different podcasts. I was scouting around, listening to different podcasts, and I was attracted to his name because I'm attracted to Jersey. And so I listened to Jersey Jerry. He calls himself JJ. And I've been calling him JJ as well. Even though we've never met.
You guys are kindred spirits.
Yeah,
though.
we're kindred spirits because
at least
JJ...
the Instagram algorithm thought you were kindred spirits.
Yeah, so we're kindred spirits. So I went back as far as I wanted to listen to his original episode, and what it was about was his journey with his recovery of... I'm pretty sure it might... Now, this episode was his first, so it may be longer. But at that time, he was in recovery for about 7 years. And it was a really interesting story about his journey and how he tells it and, where life has taken him. And that's why I reached out to him. I thought, a fellow podcaster, I'll send him a DM and see if we can get together.
And we can get together. What did he reply back?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
That's what he said. Let's do it.
And we followed up with him again. And
he said,
what did he reply back?
Let's do it.
Let's do it, Jerry. So we got 2 let's do it. So I think we're in pretty good shape. It sounds like we're going to have a future episode with Jersey Jerry. So Jersey Jerry is with Barstool Sports. He does a lot of different things there, all of them interesting. One of his podcasts is exactly about what you had just described, Mom. It's about sobriety, recovery. He speaks to recovering addicts from all different walks of life. He's had some really interesting interviews. One of his more popular ones was with the comedian Tracy Morgan at his house, and it was a great interview. Very interesting to hear their respective stories. And he is also part of their sports team as well. So he is a big Pittsburgh Steelers fan, which we
didn't know that.
I know you didn't. I would have deterred you. If there wasn't like Jerry or a Jersey like Jason who was an Eagles fan.
At least it wasn't the Dallas Cowboys.
No, thank goodness. Another thing we learned about Jerry is no female listeners. He's got 0.7% of his audience are female listeners. So he must have been very excited when a 70-year-old woman
contacted him.
Probably, I'm going to go out on a limb, Jerry. We haven't met yet, but I'm going to guess that was not the woman you thought was going to reach out to you. The 70-year-old mom from West Cape May, New Jersey. But
Jersey, yep.
To me, that feels a lot more authentic. We were going to talk a little bit today about, your journey. You had alluded to the fact, and you've just talked about it again, being a recovering alcoholic and what that process has been like for you the last 24 plus years. We don't want to give away too much because we're very excited to share your story with Jerry. But I suspect, being a podcaster himself, he's going to have a lot of questions. That being said, I thought it was a really great opportunity to share a little bit more about your path and why you think he was interested in talking with you.
That's something that you really have in common with someone, especially when they have some time behind them. Because for a lot of people, that's not easy to accumulate those years without a lot of mishaps, missteps, whatever along the way. Just little like setbacks. And personally, I was really lucky that way. I've been sober for just about 25 years. It's a long time. It's funny, I don't think about it as a long time because I really, fortunately, don't think about it that much. What I thought after speaking to him would, the first thing actually that came into my mind was a topic, a title for our podcast.
Let's do it.
No. But that's nice. It's good, but no. It was, I was going to use my Jailbird Daughter.
I like that. My Jailbird Daughter.
And when I was in my heyday with my extra pleasure-seeking gene, I was stopped in a township and received a DWI. Funny, up to that point, I'm going to say I was probably about 36 years old, 37, 38, something like that. Had never even had a parking ticket. I thought, let's just do this in a big way. So when I received the DWI, my mother happened to be not doing well health-wise, and she was in Philadelphia in the hospital. So I would have to get rides in, to see her, because at the time, I don't know what goes on now, but you lost your license for 6 months. All of that, believe it or not, has changed. So when I would get there, she would be talking with nurses or talking with people and introduce me to people as her jailbird daughter, which was...
Well, I give your mom a lot of credit. There's not a lot of humor floating around the oncology department at hospitals.
Exactly. That's the truth. So, yeah, that's how my mom would introduce me. An interesting journey. I think everyone's journey into through recovery is different, interesting. The reasons for it, all the stories are different, but the underlying theme is the same, and that's whatever substance you are abusing, it's not your friend. And that can be anything. That could be anything. That can be it
could be a Wawa cappuccino.
I'm not giving them up. I can tell you that right now. I'm not giving that. Actually, they've hired me to fix the machines.
They've actually changed AA to WW.
Right.
But that's interesting. Actually, that's what I envisioned either the title of this episode or the title of next episode was The Road Through Recovery, not The Road to Recovery, because the road to recovery gives you the sense that once you reach recovery, it's over. And something I've heard time and again in Jerry's interviews with his guests is that it never ends, and that you're always an addict, you're always in recovery. And what that journey through it looks like, I think, is so fascinating, because for some people it looks very different. Some people, the road through recovery can mean maybe similar to what you saw, which is you're still home. You didn't necessarily have to avoid places. You can still go out to a bar. You can still go to a restaurant. I drink, so you can sit with me and have a beer. Where I have very close friends, one of whom I saw quite recently, and the only place we could go to, even remotely social, was a pizza place with no alcohol, and even being home for him was very difficult, and probably, and actually I shouldn't say, and very scary, because he's 11 years sober.
Yeah, well, there's the dog squeaky toy.
It's a carnival.
This is a carnival. This is going to be an episode. As I said before, it's very different. People's journeys are different, how they react, what they can and can't be around. In that regard, I don't know if you want to call it, I was lucky or whatever, but something I decided never to attempt. I never did have that setback, because I was able to get through it really I thought a lot easier than some people really had it really rough. I may have it really rough. So I didn't want to tempt, I didn't want to tempt fate.
Did you ever have any thoughts about going back?
No. No, I don't know if that's the bull. I've always considered myself over the years to be all in or all out kind of gal. So when I'm all in, I'm all in. And when I'm out, I'm out. So, once I made that decision, but that decision did not come in probably the timeliest manner, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
that it could have. You just, that's something I can't even really explain why. I do remember a dear friend of mine, for my birthday, I had supposedly she was named, it was in New York City, named one of the most renowned psychics. I love psychics and astrology, and we sometimes start our episodes with that. And what a great birthday gift that I was going to be able to sit down with her. I'll never forget her. She was Greek, and I had just stopped drinking about 2 weeks before. But interestingly enough, because I had stopped before, or paced, or counted straws,
or been to an AA meeting. Had you ever been to an AA meeting before?
Yes, and I felt like it. People were telling stories about jumping out of windows and doing like really bizarre things. And lost their family, lost everything, and at the time I thought, whoa. And this is for people out there. This is really important to listen to, I think. I thought, these people are crazy. I mean, this isn't me. Look at me. I've got an eyes-eyed shirt on. I'm like, I know what I'm doing here. And over the years, I came to realize that a problem is a problem. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you have, who you are, where. If it's a problem, it's a problem. And I didn't get that then. So yes, the answer to that question was I had been to meetings and it didn't connect. It didn't connect with me at all. It wasn't my time. It just wasn't my time for that. I was not ready for it. Obviously wanting it. Obviously no one sent me there. I just was not ready for that. It was getting to be problematic, and not drinking every day, but when you did, wasn't a cutoff point. And it was never for me, like as I said, everybody's different, but it was never I'm sad, what was me kind of drinking. It was, as I said, an extra pleasure seeking gene. Let's start this thing. Let's have some fun. And then you take it too far. Just too far. That whether I took it too far genetically because I'm just predestined, the DNA. It was my destiny. There's a lot of alcoholism in my family, past family, and as I always said, I drew that short straw. At that time, I was angry about that. Sort of a little bit of why me. Mm-hmm. I remember looking at people that would have a nice drink in front of them early on. And they were with some people and they weren't talking to each other or laughing or having any fun at all. Of course, the judgment. I don't really do much of that anymore. But boy, I did back in the day. I was like, you should all be alcoholics because you're no fun. You're over there. You're just all bored with each other and you have these gorgeous drinks.
Should be the name of a drink. Can I get a judgment?
Yeah, right.
On the rocks?
Can I get a judgment?
A double?
So there was periods of time like that. But basically, it all ended. And I did eventually end up at I just kind of decided that it was time. And I got tired of wondering if I'd called someone a name, or insulted them. It was such a social thing to me. I would pick up the phone. I called it phone parties.
For you.
For me.
And just to set the time period,
yeah.
This is when no matter what time you called, the phone was ringing, meaning that there was no cell phone.
Oh, no. We were no cell phones.
All landlines.
No cell phones. But I used to think that I probably would have been drinking longer if I could have installed in my phone a breathalyzer, so that when I made that phone call to my sister, who eventually told me, if you ever call me again, okay. So I kind of, I'd scratch that off the list. But so if there's a breathalyzer in the telephone, stay with me.
Shark Tank.
That it would cut me off. Yeah, you can't make that call. It's like it would say, I'm sorry, but you have reached your limit and you can't make any phone calls. So I kind of exposed myself. When you've had too much to drink, your reasoning skills of, maybe it's not a good idea to call somebody right now, sort of go out the window. You want to keep the party going. So I was just tired of, do you know what you said last night? Mm-hmm. And of course, I'd always say yes. Oh, of course I know what I said. I had no clue. It gets so old. It gets so old. But then there's a part of it that exciting, for me, and fun, and, tap dancing through Philadelphia. I mean, I used to keep my tap shoes. This is crazy but true, in the trunk of my car. You never know when the opportunity would arise. Extra pleasure seeking gene to tap dance through Philadelphia. So there's a book out if anybody's interested, and I've recommended this to some people that I've helped coach through their different stages of where they are and what's going on with them. Not everyone is in AA meeting. I wasn't. I went once for 90 days 25 years ago. There's all different ways to be in recovery. But anyway, there's a book out there that really, really hit home for me. It was called Drinking a Love Story. I recommend to somebody that's listening to this podcast that may be saying, wow, really, it's saying, yeah, I'd like to cut down. I'd like to stop. I'd like to learn better, have some better tools. Maybe I'm not ready to stop, but maybe I can do this. Maybe I can do that. Grab yourself a copy of this book. It's really worth the read. To people that are listening, if indeed you make a step and you decide to reach out and you find yourself talking to people or with some people that maybe it's just not a good fit, it's not resonating with you, there's something about it, try something else. Don't quit. Don't quit. You've made the first step. I mean, I knew I had a problem, but I didn't relate to that room at the time, at the time. And possibly maybe I never would have. I don't know. I don't know that. But I do know that going down the road, there were people that I totally felt commonality with. And one of them was that book. It
felt like your story?
Oh, yeah. It was, it felt like my story.
What were some of the aspects of it that really resonated?
The romance of it, the days of wine and roses, the glass, the ordering the bottle of wine. Even to this day, I have to drink something out of a beautiful glass. Do not give me a soda, a Coke, Diet Coke, which I do love, but do not give me my beverage in a jelly glass. While everyone else has some beautiful martini glass I related to all of that. And you just have to figure out what it is about you, what will work for you. What will work for you. And you can. It's not easy. You have to learn how I have to live life on life's terms every day. There's no, I've had a bad day, I'm going home and have a couple and go, no, you don't usually have that feeling with a Diet Coke. So you really do. You have to live life on life's terms every day. The feeling that I remember being the best was being free. I was free. I never had to worry again about getting in a car. I've been the designated driver now for 25 years.
And now you drive a Mini, so you must not like it.
Well, I got that small, so I didn't have to chauffeur you drunks around.
So why'd you get the Mini? Does it handle well? Yeah, it handles my drinking friends.
Yeah, I can't get too many people in it.
And my son.
But the freedom of that no one could ever say again, do you remember what you said last night? Yeah, I do. I remember every word I said. So there was never that feeling that people that are listening that relate to this know that feeling, a mixture of guilt and embarrassment and, it's not a good feeling. It's not a good feeling. And to never have that again, I felt free. I felt really free.
Anybody who speaks about recovery publicly are very brave. We love to be able to, share our stories with you. And the more we can hear from you, and I think going into that episode, if there's anything you would like us to ask him, we welcome you to reach out to us. You can go to our website, www.12poundpodcast.com. You can email us at info@12poundpodcast.com, or you can DM us. You can direct message us on Instagram or any of your favorite social media platforms. Now that Mom knows how to do it, you should know how to do it as well. So
if I can do it, anybody can do it.
Absolutely. We're looking forward to it. It sounds like a lot of fun. We're going to be putting that together. And then while we're doing that, you have an opportunity to look back at our first 8 episodes plus our one bonus feature, which we just introduced, which is our 12 by 20 interview series. We had an opportunity to introduce a U.S. national rower, Solveig Imsdal, who is going to be competing this September with her partner in the boat, Lainey Tierney, for the World Championships in the Czech Republic. It was a fascinating interview, somebody who has worked incredibly hard at their sport and has also gone through a lot of changes in their life as they've gotten to where they are. So keep an eye out on more of those bonus interviews. We've got a few very interesting people lined up. We're going to be speaking to some family as well, which we're really excited about. My uncle, your brother, Dr. J. Scott Wilson. He is a chiropractor in Philadelphia. Fairmount Chiropractor is and has been in business for nearly 30 years, I believe. And we're going to be speaking with him about a number of different subjects, but please tune in to that episode as well. We're nearing 10 episodes, not quite a decade of episodes, but we're getting close, and we're glad you're here for the ride with us. And again, speaking of rides, check out those rides on Maury's Piers, located on the boardwalk in Wildwood, New Jersey. They're going to close soon, and it is a great time to go up there. The humidity is gone. The skies are blue. The wind is blowing out of the west, and it's a little bit quieter on the boardwalk, so the lines aren't quite as long. We've been going through a lot of changes over the course of the summer, and we hope you continue to join us as we move into the fall. So thanks, Mom.
You're welcome, Robert. Okie dokie.
Bye.
Lucy of the Margate Sands, made of dreams and old tin cans. She's no diamond, fellas, but she shines the same. With skin just like an alley buck, there's no getting through to her. She loves everyone, don't matter whence they came. And if she were but not so grand, and I could set her in a ring, I would put her on your finger, and when I took your hand, I'd sing la-de-da-de-da. I'd sing la-de-da-de-da. Well, it ain't much, I know, but we can take her with us anywhere we go. With Lucy on your hand, you won't grow